All right. Hey, everybody. We are live on our Facebook page. Hey, Doug, how are you?
Oh, good, Deb. How are you doing?
I am fantastic. So we had the big event, right? The big event that we waited 4 years for. It happened. What I love, Doug, is you were watching it live and in fact recording it live, said there was about 6, 7 minutes left, and boom, the halving happened.
Right. Yeah. It was like the dropping of the ball in New York. I felt like I was in this moment and I kept waiting for the fireworks to go off and all the things to happen and flatline. Just,
Which, to be fair, in our talks, we've talked about it, the past two that we've witnessed, the that we've been a part of, right? Watching
right.
it happen. It doesn't do anything. It kind of pulls back a little bit over days, kind
Yep.
of, you know, sometimes channels a little bit over weeks. And then we'll see a run if we see a run, right? There's never
Right.
a guarantee in any of this, but it's
Right.
a good time to remind everybody that we are not financial advisors. We're not giving you any kind of financial advice. Our page is all about education. We want people to understand what it is that you're seeing out there. We want you to be a part of crypto because it's a really fun place to be. I'm really
Oh,
excited
yes.
about it, Doug.
Oh, it is. It is the place to be.
It's the
It's
place to be.
just super exciting. And when you say down or channeling, we come up to 66 today,
Yeah.
but we have I mean that's not even a it's nothing in Bitcoin, right? We're still in what would ultimately be the channel, so we haven't really moved.
It's barely
Uh
a speed bump, really.
yeah, at that, right? Yeah. Might
But
might
I
not.
have seen some of our altcoins are following
Yeah,
that little trail up. Look at we're looking at near right here.
right.
I
Right.
see some up pressure there.
Right. And I think that's where I would expect to see it, right? I would expect to see it in coins that people think that might even have a bigger move potentially than Bitcoin does. So we'll see. So
Awesome. Well, I see that you're inside of nSights DeFi Trader, which is a phenomenal platform with phenomenal money management. And I understand today you're going to walk through some of those money management tools and kind of show us what's been happening.
yeah, we're on our call on Saturday, our community asked for me to go over a couple of trades that I had moved out of one of my grid trades and moved it over to a cycle trade and moved it over to limit orders to teach them how to use the cycle trade and limit orders. So they asked us, how are those doing? Have a look at those. And so that's kind of what we're going to do today, Deb.
Awesome. Doug, I think pretty much everybody who trades understands a limit order, right? We just put an order out there, and when the or when the market hits a particular price, it's going to go ahead and sell for you or buy for you, whatever side of the limit order you're on. But now you're talking about cycle trades, and I know that's very specific to nSights.
Right.
So please tell us a little bit about what a cycle trade is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. I think that's a good idea. Um, for a lot of people, a cycle trade is really kind of a modified limit order trade. But it has functionality, and everything that we do is kind of based around being able to manage the trade in unique ways or do money management in unique ways. So a cycle trade would be where, in the case that we'll be looking at today, I took a trade out of a grid that had been cost average, but I didn't like where that cost average was. And we'll see how it benefited the grid and benefited the trade itself by moving it out of the grid. And it allows me to put that trade in. And the cycle trade does multiple things. One, it'll enter a trade at a market price that you bought a coin, and it'll allow you to, for example, like near here, if I bought a coin down here or I moved a coin out of a grid, and let's say I did it here at this price level, it allows me to sell the trade when it goes up, just like a limit order. But it also allows me to put, once it sells that near back to BUSD or whatever your stable coin that you're moving it into, it allows me to also put in an order to buy that back if the price drops. So it's an accumulation tool. So especially around Bitcoin, it allows me to target high prices to sell my Bitcoin and then to buy that Bitcoin back at a deeper price. And so it allows for accumulation, and we'll see some accumulation today. So that creates a cycle. That's the way that I look at it. And we'll ultimately increase the power of that tool to do multiple cycles. But the main thing that it allowed me to do in this scenario, Deb, is it allowed me to take a trade that was cost averaged and move the two trades, I think it was two trades that were the cost average trades, and move them out to a cycle trade, leave my original trade in the grid. And then because the market had dropped so much, I was able to cost average that trade again at a much deeper price. And that trade is now closed in profit. And we'll see that today.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it. I love that you can move a couple of trades out to trading through a limit order or cycle trade, or just set it aside for a minute when the market drops, and you can see that you can get so much more for your money, right?
Right.
If you just buy at that deeper price. And it's fantastic that it sold off for you. I love it.
Yeah, and some people might ask, Deb, why didn't I just leave those two trades in the grid, right, and do another cost average? And the reason that I didn't is, and again, it comes down to money management. And I think when we're trading one-to-one leverage, we own the coins. It really becomes the ability to manipulate money management that is so important. And because those two trades were taken too high in the market, the weighted cost average of those two trades, for me to add another trade even down deep like I was, would have been very hard to pull that trade down, because it was, I say, kind of top heavy. It would be a kind of a good way to try to understand that. I didn't mind being in that position because I believe in the coin. I believe in the long-term viability of the coin. And I just needed to manage those two trades differently, which I moved them out to the cycle trade, right? But it allowed me then to manage the original trade that was up fairly high with a much deeper trade. And then the weighted cost average of the original trade, because the other two trades were moved off, was able to come down very deep in the market, and I was able to close that trade in profit.
That's amazing. Fantastic. I
Yeah,
love it.
a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it's a good reminder that we do trade one-to-one. We don't. So every trade you make, right? You bought the coins, you own the coins. It's just a matter of time before those go back into profit. Never a guarantee, of course.
Right.
But I love that this is a trader's dream, because we offer so many ways. First of all, we have money management built in, but then we allow you to go in and manipulate your money management to make
Right.
it work even better for you. Hands down, this is the best platform on the planet, Doug.
Yeah,
I truly believe it.
I love it. Yeah, and then it's just what's so exciting, I think, for everybody, and especially for me, is that it just, however you see it, whatever you think you want to do with that money management, gives you the power to do that, right? And it's within your control. So instead of being stuck in a grid and just like you say, okay, the market comes back up, eventually I'll get out, it's buy and hold concept, right? We no, 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 no. Yeah, we do hold, but we manage the trade in many, many ways so that we cost average it down. We manipulate the cost averaging. We do all kinds of things so that it's not just waiting for the market to come back. And so even if a coin does go, and I'll touch on this just for a second, even if the coin does go down, right, and you lose faith in the coin, and we had traders trading CZ Goat and other meme coins that may or may not ever come back. But you may lose faith in that coin. Well, we have the ability to take that coin, convert it to a coin that you do believe in, recognize the position of that coin, and trade that position and back to profit, right? And so you begin to think outside the box,
Yeah.
that I'm not just stuck in a coin, right? Oh, this coin is 80% negative or whatever it is, right? No. You're in a trade. Now, what do you do with that trade? What do you do with that negative position? How do you manage your money, not your coin, manage your money back to profit? When you
Yeah.
begin to think like that, when you begin to know that money management is the key to success, then everything else begins to line up.
Yeah. I love it. I love it.
So,
And the other thing I'll say about nSights is all of these things that you're talking about as we go through this, nSights will teach a user how to trade. So somebody can come into nSights and decide, I just want to be on autopilot. I want to set up a few grids, let nSights do all the work. And that's brilliant. If you watch what nSights does, you're going to learn how to trade.
right.
It just is. I I love that part of our platform. It's for
Yeah.
everybody, not just master traders. It's also for the novice trader. It's for the
Yeah.
person who's never traded ever to come on and set up a grid, set up a couple grids, watch them. You're going to learn how to trade, or maybe you don't care to learn. Maybe you just want to, have it trade and close in profit for you over and over and over again. It'll do that too.
Yeah, and that again, that gets down to money management, and that's why we make such high returns, right? Is
Mm.
understanding the turning of trades and trading the same money over and over again and compounding those trades
Yeah.
by reinvesting the money that it makes. So, yeah, it does what it's supposed to do, and for a novice, like you said, it can be completely hands off. It's completely automated, right? You just set up the initial trade and put in the and it's not like you're designing a trade. Now, I know a lot of systems, you take moving averages and you do all these kind of things and you design your trade and then it trades it right. No. You don't have to do that, right? It's designed to, fill in just a couple of lines. It takes less than a minute in most cases, and then it trades that for you. And if you want to modify that after you set it up, you can do that. So very, very, very fun.
It's brilliant.
So should we dive in?
I think so. I want to see the details of this trade, this amazing, I call it alchemy. What'd you do with Near? Let's see it.
Well, let's go to the grid first, okay? Let's
Right.
dive in, start there so that everybody can kind of follow. And let's look at near here. Let's click on near. So we can see, and these dots, guys, I won't go through all the explanation of the dots. Basically, the black dots are the cost averaging dots. You can see the deep trade here that ultimately sold out. It was very high in the market, and we were able to move the cost average down so that it was able to sell out. If we left the trade where it originally was, and this is, the buy and hold, and hopefully it gets back to profit hold deal, right? And most of the time, and I know if you're a trader for any amount of time, you've experienced this where the market comes right back to near where you were, or doesn't get to where you were, and it doesn't get you out of that trade. Okay.
Is that why they call this one Near? You got so very near.
Yeah, 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 but so far away.
So far away.
Oh my gosh. It is Monday, guys. It is Monday. So, all right. So we can see, how the system manages, but let's go down to near and see if I can find the right trade here. And near. Okay, give me Maybe.
So what Doug is looking at here, all of the trades on this near grid that have happened when they have two lines, it means it bought and then it sold. When it has one line still, it means it's still an open trade.
That is correct. All right. Let me go out here. Okay, near cycle trade. So here near was the one that I moved out to the cycle trade back on 4/6. Okay. And we can see that this is done. What that means is that it went through the cycle trade. If I click on the eye here, it lines up the trades. It tells you what everything has done. Once it closes out the near, it took near, sold it to BUSD, bought back near, and it takes that near and moves it out to my mid wallet. And if I go to my mid wallet here, I can look at near, and it shows that I have 44.35 near. And that value of that near that I have in my mid wallet is about $309. We're going to take that near now that went from the grid to a cycle trade that says it's done. So it went through all its processes, moved my near back out to my mid wallet. Had it been partially done, it would have taken the near I put in, sold it to BUSD. That's that first step. And then the second step is the buyback. So we're going to take part of that near now that's out here in my mid wallet. I'm going to go back to trade, and ultimately when I create the cycle trade to do multiple cycles, it'll do this part automatically too. But right now we've done one cycle. So that puts it out into my mid wallet, and I'm going to go cash that out into some profit. Okay.
So you took your near trades, you popped them into a cycle trade. And what it did was when the market dropped even further, you were able to pick up even more near at a lower price, giving you more tokens. And that
Right.
is what we're seeing here is that you sold and then you came down and you did the buyback. Now you have near in your mid wallet. What are you going to do with it? You're going to hold on to it, or
Right.
you can take profit.
Well, and you made a really good point there on the cycle trade. The cycle trade isn't limited just to the amount that you put in. Let's say I put in at this price here in the market, and I want to accumulate near. So if I put it in here and the market just went vertical up, then it takes the near that I have and it sells that near back to BUSD. And then if the market drops, it buys more back. If I put it in like here and the market drops without going up, I can actually set it to buy more near at a deeper price, so that when it buys that near at a deeper price, then it can go up and sell that additional near with the near that I put in for more profit.
Right.
So yeah, good point, Deb. So I got 44.35 near. All right. I'm going to click in here, and it's going to pop this up, and it shows my near. I've got these two trays. I'm going to select both of them here. I can select both of them or parts of them. I don't have to do it all. If I really want to, maybe like Bitcoin, I maybe want to sell some of my Bitcoin, but not all of my Bitcoin. I have the ability to modify this any way that I want. But I want to cash this out and move it back to BUSD and use it in different places. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this, and it's going to now take that cycle trade that we did and close it out into profit here. Gives me my approximate. I got to enter in my 2FA, which I do have my phone today, Deb.
Brilliant. Not right in front of you, but you have it in
Yeah.
the room. So
Yeah.
we're getting closer, Doug.
Oh, we're getting so much closer. You guys don't know what we're talking about. The other day I did a call and I needed the 2FA and I didn't have my phone. So Deb had to fill in for me and talk. And I'm going to tell something on myself, Deb.
Oh, Doug.
The phone was in my back pocket.
As he's running around his house looking for it.
And if I didn't have my new step monitor, which I got a buzzer that I can find my phone, I hit that and I hear it ringing. It's in my back pocket.
But hey, think about the steps you got.
There's always an upside.
Always a positive.
Right. Confirm. All right. It's going to go out and create that swap. It takes a second to go out to the blockchain. If everything's cool on the blockchain, we'll see a success right there. And now I've moved that in this, this is a account that I kind of teach in, guys. This is not a test account, it's a teaching account. It moved that that now BUSD out to my mid wallet, and I have it available to do more grids or more cost averages or whatever I want to do. Super exciting. So the other thing that we did is I moved some injective Deb out to, I think, a limit order.
Oh,
Let's
yes,
check.
I remember you did do that.
Let's check that. I think that is here. Yeah, I moved this injective out, and it's still 19% down from its target that it needs to get to close in profit. But let's look at this one because it did something really interesting. And so let's go to the grid on this. So there's two objectives here. Remember, when I move out to a cycle trade, like near it did its process, it closed out. One is to manage the trade that I'm moving out, but also one is to manage the trade that's still there in the grid. So let's go look at this grid and let's look at what this did, because it did what we wanted it to do. I looked at this part earlier and I couldn't remember if it was a cycle or limit, but it was a limit, but it's injective. I'm going to click on that and I'm going to go down and it's right here. This one, and we'll see, let me click on the box so you can see. Here are the two trades that I moved out to that limit order. I combined them into one trade in the limit order. Okay, so I moved these two out to the limit order. We just saw those. Those two are still being managed. Injective hasn't gone up yet like Near did. So as soon as it does, it'll manage that in the limit order. Okay. But what it did do, which is really exciting, this trade that was up at 40, okay, that original buy was really high. And I was able to cost average it at 23. Now, these two were at 32 and 36 price, fairly high in the market, like I was talking about. I was able to take those out of the grid. This would have been that top heavy or weighted too high to really be able to pull this trade down.
Right.
So I was able to move it out into a limit order and then buy at a deeper price. I bought at $100. I moved $100 out. So I came back in with the same amount. I didn't overbuy. I could have bought more, but I don't think I would have gotten much more benefit out of buying more or putting in like $150 or $200. So I matched the amount that I took out. I bought 100 single trade at 23 instead of these two trades up really high in the market. And what ended up happening was,
and you got 4.23 quantity.
Well, yeah, good point, Deb.
Goodness. Look at that. Look at the difference.
Yeah, look at the difference. And this is the benefit. We love when the market drops. Everybody else freaks out. Right? We actually love when the market drops because of this reason. This was just a little under 3, right? But I was able to get 4.23 at a deeper price. That brought my original buy up here down much lower in the market. And we're going to see that here because we're going to go look at that trade. So that's this trade right here that sold in some nice little profit there. And I'm going to click on the eyeball, and it's going to take us to that trade. Okay. Well, let me crunch it up here. And I'll do that one more time. We'll see that trade will show up as a yellow dot. Get so many trades. We had to do this because it becomes impossible to find your trades if you don't.
Impossible is a harsh, harsh word.
Yeah. And I'll show you guys this. Okay, here it is. It's this one here.
Do you see it's yellow? Turn your blue thing off at the
Oh,
bottom.
there it is.
Yeah.
It's this
There
one
it is.
here. Sorry.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. So it moved the trade down to here. It originally was up here, and it cost averaged it down. And we can see where the other cost averages were up here. My last cost averages was right down here. So it gave us a nice trade. It closed it in profit right there. And we can see that that blue line goes up. I'll put a horizontal here on the yellow, right? So there's where we got above the market in the right amount of profit after moving this down into a position where we wanted it. Instead of being stuck at that other cost average, remember they were up in the 30s, right up here. So they now went away, and we'll be changing these dots to represent that they moved out to a limit order. The programmers are still working on that, but we still can see where the original dots were. We can see where the new dot is, and we can see where the trade closed.
I love it.
Love it, love it, love
I love
it.
it.
So,
And because it sold, the original, where the original trade was is no longer on this chart, but it was, yeah, right up where Doug's pointing is about where that took that
well,
trade.
we can see where the original trade was. Let's just do this so everybody can kind of see. So let's go here. Here's the original trade, 40.58. So where was that original trade? So let's look at that really quick. I'm going to take this line. I'm going to put another line on here, and I'm going to change the line color so we can track it to purple. I'll make it thick here so we can see it. And it was 40.58. So where was 40.58? 40.58. I think I got those numbers right.
I think you did.
So right
Yeah,
where I was
right
pointing.
there. Yeah,
So
yeah. That's where the original trade was taken. And because Doug used the cost averaging system, pulled it all the way down to there. And I think, Doug, there's some wizardry going on in you, because pull into where that sold on the chart.
well, look at this. It's still 28% negative from where we bought it.
Yeah.
But to get back to where we bought it, if we had just bought and hold, right? If you just buy and hold, we would have had to gone up another 38, almost 40%
Yeah.
before we would have gotten that trade back out.
Crazy.
So
And drill into where that sell happens, and look how close to the little tip top you are
yeah,
getting out of that. And then it drops
came back
back
down.
down. So I feel
Yeah.
like there's a little bit of,
Well,
sorcery going on.
well, we teach and talk about range of movement, market movements, psychology of the market, that the market trades a certain way because it's made up of people.
Yeah.
And people's fear and greed never changes. So once you understand the cycles and the movement of the market, it makes not that you're always right. Sometimes there's news that come out that cause it to ballistically go up or ballistically go down, or greed becomes really heavy and it's driving the market big time. Those times are rare. What we want to do is stay within the normal cycles of the market, because we're going to make more money over time because we're working within those cycles, getting in and getting out, getting in and getting out.
Yes,
So
and that's why when we set up our grids, we don't set them up automatically to, oh, sell when we hit 25%, sell when we hit 50%, right? We all want to make 25%, 50%, 100%,
right.
100% on every single trade. It doesn't happen. The market, look at, you can see it goes up, it comes down, it goes up, it goes down, it goes up a little more, it comes down a lot, right? It's just constantly fluctuating. And when you can start feeling that ebb and flow and kind of understand your coin, guys, we ask you to trade the coins that you believe in. You understand the utility behind them. You watch them, you start to understand the ebb and the flow, and you see that you're best off staying in that 4%, 5%, maybe 6% range, so that you can continue to get one trade after the next, and get out in profit as it goes on each one of those. Waiting for a 20% up is a long wait sometimes. And you
Right.
miss so many little 4 and 5%ers that you're actually, I
Way
wouldn't
ahead.
say losing money, but you're not gaining, you're
Well,
not getting ahead.
they are kind of losing money, Deb, because if you look at the cycles, if
Time
you
is money, right?
yeah, well, and if you had, let's say you were going for a 30% or 40% move, right? Well, if I had 20 cycles in that time that it took to get to 40% that I made 5% on, I'm way ahead,
Right.
way ahead. Plus, I've compounded that money. So
Yeah.
so I get out at 40%, I made 40%. But if I traded 20 times between where I'm at in the market and that 40% and I compounded, I used the money on top of money, it's just no comparison.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a
And
hard lesson to learn for some new people, especially people who are buy and holders, and
yeah.
that's all they know. This idea of trading, accumulation, that those concepts are out there.
Well, it's a and there's a huge fear, guys, and we'll close on this. I know the fear of missing out, right? If I get out of the market, what if it runs? What if it goes to that big number, right? If it does, it does, right? It's just a trade. You just keep trading, but over time, the consistency of trading the market correctly will make more money than just holding and making that run. Now, I know some people that bought Bitcoin when it was, 8 cents. Okay, all right. Yeah, that's hard to beat, right? But the market would have beat it through the cycles of the market had it been traded right. But I understand the fear of missing out. But once you become a trader, once you become comfortable trading, it just becomes a fact that it's just a trade. The market will drop, it will present another trade, and we just keep trading, right? And that's what we do. So Deb,
I love
back
it.
to you.
I love it. Excellent. Well, thank you. That was a great call. We had some folks on the live. We have Perry Grant is here. Gary Brennan is here. Gary
Uh,
says, and I loved this, so many tools in nSights toolbox. Fantastic, he said. So thank you guys for joining.
Thanks, Gary.
Really appreciate it. And share us out. Let's get people to understand that we're here and we've got an amazing platform for everybody to use. We'll see you again on Wednesday. We're going to come back live with another topic. So, Doug, thank you so much. Thank you for
Hey.
your insights into the market and what's going on out there. We really